Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Dear students, today we are going to discuss the journal entries. Before moving towards, we need to understand some rules for writing in journal. These rules are called rules of debit and credit. So, whenever asset increases, we need to write on the debit side, and when decreases we need to write on the credit side. Likewise, when expense increases we need to write on the debit side, otherwise on credit side. When revenue increases we need to write on credit side, and when revenue decreases we need to write on the debit side. Likewise, liability and the capital account also, whenever decreases we need to write on the debit side, and whenever they increases we need to write on the credit side. Now the first transaction is purchased merchandise and paid cash. Purchase of merchandise on cash. In this transaction, actually, whenever we purchase merchandise, these are categorized as an expense. So in this case our expense increases, so we need to write purchases on debit side, and when cash decreases we need to write on credit side. In the second transaction, purchased an equipment and paid $15,000 in cash. In this case our equipment is actually an asset, and whenever asset increases we need to write on the debit side, and we purchase equipment by paying cash. So in this case our other asset, which is cash, decreases, so as per the rule we need to write on the credit side. In the next transaction, repayment of liabilities in cash. Repaid of $7,000 of bank loan. Now in this case, when we paid liability, our liability account decreased. As per the rule, whenever liability decreases we need to write on the debit side, and we paid this liability in form of cash, so our cash balance also decreases. So as per the rule, whenever asset decreases we need to write on the credit side. And other transaction, paid $3,000 account payable. Also in this case, actually our liability decreases by paying cash, so whenever liability decreases we need to write on the debit side, and also our cash balance decreases, which is our asset, and whenever asset decreases we need to write on the credit side. In this transaction, payment of expense in cash, actually we paid the rent expense, so as per the rule our expense increases, so we need to write on the debit side, and we actually paid these expenses on cash, so our cash balance decreases, and our asset also decreases, so we need to write on the credit side. In the next transaction, paid $6,000 as a salaries expense. Also in this case our expense in form of salaries increases, so as per the rule whenever expense increases we need to write on the debit side. Also our cash balance also decreases, As per the rule, when asset decreases, we need to write on the credit side. In this transaction, actually, we sold merchandise and received cash. Uh, Whenever we sold merchandise, actually it is categorized as a revenue. So whenever revenue increases, we need to write on the credit side. So sales goes to the credit, but actually we made this sales on cash, so our cash balance increases. And as per the rule, when asset increases, as cash is an asset, we need to write on the debit side. In this transaction, actually we sold equipment and received $8,600 in cash of an asset whose worth is $8,000. So we sold an asset whose worth is $8,000. Our asset decreases, we need to write $8,000 and on the credit side, and we received cash $8,600. So our cash balance increases, which is our asset, we need to write on the debit side. The difference between the first debit and the first credit is $600. Actually this is gains on sale. Actually gains just like uh, are the we can say that initially that we can categorize as an income account, but actually they are not income. uh, so whenever we made gains, we need to write on the credit side. In the next transaction, actually we borrowed money in form of cash, so cash increases and also our liability increases. So whenever cash increases, your asset also increases, we need to write on the debit side, and whenever liability increases, we need to write on the credit side as per the rules of debit and credit. Also in this transaction, we issued a promissory note and received $11,000 in cash. In this transaction, we received cash. Cash have a positive balance. We need to write on the debit side. Also, our liability account also increases, so we need to write on the credit side. As actually a promissory note is also called notes payable. Uh, loan in form of writing means you receive loan by signing a note or a bond like papers. Issued 500 shares of common stock at $50 per share. Means we received 25,000 by issuing 500 shares in form of cash. So our cash balance increases. As per the rule, we need to write on the debit side, and also our capital account increases, we need to write on the credit side. Hopefully dear students, it will be very helpful for you. If you feel in any place uncomfortable, you can write below in the comments, and hopefully I would write as soon as possible to reply your queries. Thank you very much.